take one script and literally turn it into a ton of different videos. It's Leanna Ling with adskills.com, and today I am bringing you the creative edition of The Edge. So come on, let's dive in. I like to take a look at creators and entrepreneurs who I know have been running ads for a while, maybe even years, because that tells me that it's likely that the ads that they are running are based on experience and data, and then we can draw our own conclusions from there. So I would like to start with going through somebody that I've been following for many years. In fact, I remember when she first started her podcast, and I have been following her ads for years and tend to look to her ads for some inspiration and to kind of get an idea of, well, maybe there's an idea here that I haven't thought of that I want to run. So I went into the Meta Ads library and pulled up Amy Porterfield's ads. The other reason why I like to do this is she's probably spending a significant amount of money. I don't know exactly how much, but I know that she's not running $5 a day ads. So again, we can take a look at this and actually come up with some conclusions that can help us, maybe inspire us with our own ad campaigns and creatives. So let's take a look over here. I went into the ads library, and right now I am just filtering by active ads. So let's take a look at what's running and what we can see from here. Now I'm going to scroll all the way down to the bottom because this has every ad from 2018 that is still active. Now it says here these were launched in September 2023. So the first thing we take a look at is, well, how long have they actually been running? Because if they were launched last week, then I'd be going, well, okay, there's probably a lot of testing happening. But if these ads have been on since September 2023, so like maybe a year and a half, I guess, they're probably doing fine for her. So we can actually learn some things from here. So let's go down to the bottom first and take a look at these creatives. Now with Facebook, I do like to try different types of creatives, and you can see here that she has carousel ads. She looks like here she's got an image ad that's probably being served up to the story and the reels placement, and she also has a video, again because of the way it looks, probably serving up to the reels and stories placement. And it looks like she's not even doing any static ads with a square version, but I could be wrong because this could just be what it's actually just showing us. So let's take a look over here first at the first thing I wanted to mention is if you take a look at just looking at the ads here from September 2023, the one thing that sticks out to me is they are all branded. So all of them except for one has her face in it, okay? Which can be unusual because you want to have a mixture, but let's take a look at this in a little bit more detail. This is the only one that doesn't have her face in it, but it has a mock-up of her course. So let's take a look at the carousel ad, and I'm just going to click in here to go into it. All right, so here is the carousel ad, and I'm willing to bet that this is a retargeting campaign because she's talking about her digital course academy and why you should join, and that's usually something that you put in front of your warm audience because they've either bought other things from you, they have maybe they've entered in their email address. So it makes sense to me why these are still running for so long, because it's probably not targeting a huge audience. It's a very niche audience of people who she deems are ready to see this offer for the course academy. And again, that's probably why it's been running for as long as it has. So let's just take a look at the text here because that is part of the creative. One thing I think is interesting is it has a lot of emojis in it. At least I think it has a lot of emojis in it. I've always had the rule where I don't want to put more than 2 emojis in a row because I had heard somewhere that it sort of seems spammy inside of your Facebook text, but I've also stayed away from emojis more because to me, that was a sign that this was written by ChatGPT and in a way that feels like ChatGPT. So this kind of does a little bit. Again, I have no idea if she had this written by ChatGPT or another generative AI, but that's one of the reasons why I don't use it. But interesting that she has it here. Again, it's for her warm audience, so this is probably fine. They're going to forgive you a lot of whatever it is that you're putting out there because again, they're already bought into your brand and the problem, and they just need to have another reason why they're actually going to take the next step to purchase her program. So she says it's open for enrollment. And by the way, since these have been active, it seems since since September 2023, you can probably surmise that this is for an evergreen product, even though it says it's open for enrollment, making it sort of sound like it's a live event. This definitely looks like it is retargeting and it's open all the time, and just reminding people that it's open for enrollment. Another thing that is interesting, again, it looks like all of the text is the same here, is that if you notice at the very bottom, she puts the link to the landing page. Now, this is something that I've been on and off with. I used to do it and then I stopped doing it because I noticed that my ads weren't performing as well. But in the last couple of months, I heard from somebody who used to work at Facebook pretty high up that he recommended that we actually put the link back into the primary text. The reason is before we would assume that putting it in there, Facebook didn't like it as much because Facebook prefers it if you use the features in a way that they were meant to be used. And they already have a field for you to put the link in. So putting it in the primary text is kind of saying, hey, I'm going to ignore all the stuff that you're doing for me and I'm going to put it in here. And it might be seen as a little bit of clickbaiting in terms of that you have a link there, but that was just our theory in the past. But now it seems that things have come around again and it's actually working better. And I've been doing this in my own ads as well. I've been putting the link at the bottom. I'm not saying click here because I stay away from that type of wording, but at the end of whatever the primary text is that I have in here, I do tend to put the link in here. And I think it's good to put in a prettier looking link instead of an ugly link. So you don't want to put, say like a bit.ly or something like that because people don't know what it is. So they're suspicious and they're probably not going to click on it. Also, if you have something here like this, amyporterfield.com/digital course academy. I mean, it looks trustworthy. It looks like, yes, this is, I'm reading an ad about DCA. I should click on this here. So it's very much in alignment with everything that's happening here. It's not too long. It doesn't have weird characters in it. So it raises some suspicion. So I really like that as well. Now, it also makes sense to me that the button is sign up because again, retargeting, you're just like, here you go, let's go here. And this carousel is very much in her design. By the way, one thing I do like about Amy Porterfield out of pretty much all of the info product coaching businesses that I look at in terms of the creative, she is always, she didn't used to be, but I've noticed that her branding game is very strong. Her team is really good at, I think, bringing out her brand in all the videos and the graphics that she does so that when you look at it, like if I see something here and I see this sort of like the highlight thing and just the way it is, I'm guessing it's Amy Porterfield. She's got the testimonials. Notice how she has arrows going towards each of the next cards over here. And also what I think is interesting is in this last card here, it says click the link below to learn more and it's got 3 arrows going down. I have run ads where they were disapproved and even an ad account got shut down because we had arrows because it was seen as clickbaiting. However, I don't know the whole story behind here. Maybe they have a really good rep or maybe that, it's just been flying under the radar. I normally wouldn't put this here, but again, she's been advertising for a while. She probably advertises quite a bit. She probably has a really good rep for her at Meta. So sometimes when you're looking at other people's ads, you do want to make sure that you're a little bit careful about being too risky with it because this creator or this advertiser may have gotten special permissions or just likely will have a totally different history than what you do. So if I were just starting out and I wasn't sure, I wouldn't put the arrows there and I would probably say tap the button below or tap below. And I like how it says click the link below too, and then it lets the button continue the sentence. So that's something I haven't done before. I might try that just because again, it makes your brain think a little bit differently if you get to that card. I do like how they just used a really simple template here and just put the testimonial in here. You don't always have pictures of people who give you testimonials, but putting it in here and then making this sort of like a script type of handwriting makes it feel a little bit, more real, I guess you would say. So I kind of like how that's just really, really nice and easy. And again, really clear about what this is for. Join now. It's open for enrollment. Here's what they have to say. So great retargeting ad over here. Let's take a look at the other ads that she's put up here. She really seems to be going for the testimonial or at least, hey, look at what everybody else is doing and join them. Let's actually click through and take a look at this ad a little bit carefully here. See ad details. So here she has, again, this is probably for a story ad or a Reels ad or both in terms of those placements, or maybe not. Oh, here it goes. It has multiple versions. All right, here we go. So you can see here that she has customized, or her team has customized the creative for the different placements. So I'm glad to see that there is a square version here. There is sort of this is probably what, like this is a 9:16 version, and there's only two. Okay, so sometimes I make a 4x5 version, but this is best practices. So you're going to take whatever creative you have and at least make a square and at least make a 9:16 version of it so that it can show up well in a lot of the placements. I have tested a 4x5 version before, and sometimes that works really well too across all different types of placements. But again, really good practice over here. The branding is in place. This is definitely like her yellow. When I see the yellow and I see this sort of style, I know it's Amy Porterfield. Again, I think it's interesting she's got the arrow here. I normally wouldn't put an arrow. So again, use that with caution. But again, just really simple. And you can see I've seen this picture for quite a bit in different other things. So another tip is if you do have somebody who is the face of the business, create a list of shots for them to make, like this, or standing here, or pointing, or looking surprised, or putting their hands up, or doing something like that. So that way you can take it and then use it in all these different types of images. I did just see a TikTok about a tool. I can't remember the name of the tool, but you can upload yourself in there and it'll create a clone of yourself. And then you can say, put me in like a blue shirt. So you might be able to do that. I don't know how good it is in terms of doing all these different poses. I'm going to have to play with it and let you know, but that could also be an option. And then just have these templates ready to go so you can change out the wording on here and maybe the colors, and just have the spokesperson on the creative. So here, this one is a video. So let's take a look at this one over here, and let's take a look at what this video is. So this is a 7-second, basically what we call a GIF video. Let me see if I can make this a bit bigger for you. So what's happening here is there's no music, there's no talking over this. I do like to use these types of videos. It's 7 seconds long, and you can easily do this in Canva, where you just create this inside of Canva and then just click animate. And you notice it's not even doing anything crazy. It's just sliding in. So it's a little bit of movement to capture your eye. And this also might be working. Sometimes this just works better than static images, and sometimes you need both. So these seem to me to be super easy creatives that anybody can make. So again, great idea here. It looks like it says multiple versions, but it looks like this is, here's a square version right here. Again, same thing, 7 seconds, so easy to do in Canva. You can just resize it, animate it, and away you go. So let's take a look at some other ads that are running. So these were some here that we were looking at for retargeting. Again, great takeaways are making sure that you have the brand front and center as well, because this is a warm audience. They're probably likely to recognize you. So being able to have different poses of the person who is representing the brand, also being very direct in the creative as well, like literally putting on there the call to action or the headline or the hook on there, and then also having different versions of it. So we've got the carousel, and then on these singular ones, we have where you saw that she just has the 9:16 version and also the square version, so they can look good in a variety of places. Let's take a look at some other ones here. At a glance, they're all branded, slightly different template, just putting her front and center here. It says last chance, so they probably have a number of different audiences that they rotate through, or they keep pushing people in and out so that, they can indicate that this is happening. And they've even got a last call one. This one over here is the only one without her face, and it is still running. But this here has the mock-up of the course, which is helpful to have. Again, notice in the square version as well as the tall version over here. This can be helpful when you're selling something that is intangible, so that people can just really visualize what they're getting. And then her team is also following what you might see in e-commerce ads, where they have the product and then these little arrows or little lines that come out from the product to pull out different features. This is absolutely from e-commerce style ads here, and a great idea too. I've been just putting in the mock-up. I think this is a great idea to add these little arrows on here. If it works for e-commerce, it probably is going to work here as well. And that it looks like kind of handwriting over here. It's a bit hard to read, but I like that it just has that call out there, so you can see what you're getting inside of the academy. You can see what it's for. So that's important. Like, what is the outcome that I'm getting from whatever I'm buying? And it's right here, right in front of me. And here are the features. And again, lock in your spot, close it soon, so So this is definitely for somebody who knows what this is, just needs to have that final push to make their decision. So it doesn't have to explain too much, but it's letting me know. Interesting, it says won't open until 2024. So this is definitely an old ad. But if it's still working for her, go for it, go for it. So again, just needs to have just enough information for me there. By the way, sometimes you may see ads that are running that still talk about Black Friday sales or Christmas sales. It's still going because it's still working. Sometimes they just do. Sometimes it doesn't have to be Christmas in order for the ad to work. The number one rule I always follow is if it's working, don't touch it and just let it keep going. So let's take a look at these ones here that were launched in 2023 and they're still running. So I'm going to take a look at this one. Again, interesting to me that over time, she has pretty much kept her face front and center. In fact, I remember in one of her trainings years ago, she would say, hey, for a cold audience, you don't want to necessarily have your face and your brand in there because people really don't know you. So they're not really going to be that moved to sign up for something just because your face is in there. But Amy is such a force to be reckoned with, and her brand is so widely known that I think this is also why she can get away with putting more of her brand out there for a colder audience. So let's take a look at one of these over here, which doesn't look like a retargeting audience. It looks like it's going to a cold audience for some type of a lead magnet. So let's take a look over here. This one is a video. And videos, she does videos. I've seen she does a lot of videos, but she tends to do like either these really short videos or she'll be talking from her phone. So it looks really natural. I don't see that many from her where it's in a big studio, looks very polished. It depends on your brand, depends on your audience, but these seem to work for her. And let's take a look at this one. So very similar style in terms of the emojis going all the way through. She is saying it's free, putting in the links here. Again, I like having the links. I think that she could be, again, if these are working for her, great. But I think that for the text here, because they all seem to be following a very similar formula, it's working. I would absolutely test stuff. Like I would test also something that's really short. I've even tested ads that have no text in here and just let the video go, where we're basically saying everything in the video. But let's see what this video does. Okay, so she's talking over here and it looks like she's making it look like she is recording this from her phone. So it feels very spontaneous. It feels very natural. Notice she did a transition there from this, let's see, around the 8-second mark. She changed scenery. This is another trick. You want to take a look at some of the more popular videos, see how often they do transition. So this one here, I think it was at 8 seconds. And then there's another one coming up soon. I believe I saw, like around 12 seconds. It flashed a minute, but she's still in the same position. Some people change it every 4 or 5 seconds. Some people change it every 10 seconds. This is a 40-second video. Interesting that she just keeps going all the way through. I wonder how many people are actually watching all the way through to the end. What is she doing here? She is addressing probably like not necessarily an objection, but a question in people's minds. This is a really good way to start off a video, is to start off with something that makes people feel like you're already in their heads, that feels like, wow, like I was thinking that too. And that's going to keep me watching. And then explaining what the guide is, what it's going to help you with over here. And now she's walking a little bit. So you got a little bit of movement. So notice that she doesn't have the same thing throughout the entire 40 seconds. I know it doesn't sound long, but when you're online for these types of videos, especially, this is a tall video. So it's probably being served in the Reels feed as well. Like that's where Meta's probably placing it. You have people with just short attention spans because in that placement, you're used to seeing very short, fast moving videos. So you want to fit in there. And she does have the captions. Notice that the captions are in the middle of the video and not way at the bottom. You want to do that so that it doesn't get covered by other stuff that is going to be in people's screens. So when you upload a video to any platform, you want to pay attention to just the stuff they put around it, like your profile, your options that you have on there. Like on TikTok, there's all these little, there's actually these icons that go along the side here. And then there's stuff at the bottom where the description is and the image of your profile image. And that happens in Facebook as well, especially when you're trying to optimize for several different placements. Now I'm in the ads library and Meta is putting this type of green lines on here. I'm assuming to kind of just show me where the safe space is. And you can also just Google in Facebook's area. They have specs for each placement so that you can see where are your safe spots. So you still want to do the tall video, but you just want to make sure the main stuff is not covered. And that's why you want to put your captions further up. You can let Facebook put in its own captions if you want, but it's nice to be able to have something that's maybe more branded, that you can control. And notice how it's just popping up here. That's another trend that I've been seeing for the last couple months. Do you remember in the days when, especially when Alex Hormozy first came out and people were trying to copy all his captions and it was like one word at a time and a lot of flash. And then now I've noticed in general on TikTok and on Instagram and on Facebook that the captions are very, very simple. And I've been going that way too. So you don't have to do all this crazy stuff. And sometimes it just, I don't know, like maybe it just helps bring the message out a little bit more because you're not seeing all these things flashing on your screen and emojis and different sounds. Again, it depends on the audience, but that's what she's doing here. Really, really simple. And anybody can do this, just kind of jumping in here to just pull up your phone and start talking inside of there. So let's take a look at this one as well. It looks to me that she is in a similar position, but she's got blue and she's got pink. So that's something to test too, is to test different colored shirts, different colored hats, different backgrounds. It makes a difference. It really, really does. So let's take a look here. Now she's using a different script, but notice how it's the same position. And look there, at about 8 seconds, moved over to a different, see, she was here sort of leaning over on a counter or something like that. And then all of a sudden at 8 seconds or so, she's now in a different position. So they're following some type of template and now she's walking. So it went around around 13, 14 seconds. Then she switched to walking. So again, switching, keeping our attention. It's got the caption sort of in the middle. I can see why the red wouldn't really pop as much against this pink. So that's why it's her yellow over there. But notice how this really pops. Now she's going back. So this is definitely something you can test. If it was me and I had a script that worked, I would just keep doing the same script and testing different shirts and hair up, hair down, like hats or whatever it is. So you can test all those different things, different backgrounds, outside, inside, in a chair, in your car. I've done that. I've done car stuff. It didn't work as well for me. Car stuff works really well for you. So you can test all these different things and take one script and literally turn it into a ton of different videos. What I don't see here is taking that same script and doing it in a more VSL style video where you don't have a face on there. You just have B-roll, or you have maybe just the words popping up in what John Benson created, the quote unquote, the ugly VSL. I don't see that here. I just see these ones, but she is extremely well spoken. She does very well on video. This is really playing to her strengths. So go for it. Now they do have another one here, which is a static image. This just has the square. Sometimes that's fine too. You don't have to necessarily customize it for every placement. Notice here again, she's still following the same thing where they have the link. It's shorter than the other one. So maybe they're testing different stuff, and it doesn't have all the emojis on the side here. It's still got some emojis, and that could be part of her brand as well. You have a graphic here. Maybe it's done in Canva, maybe it's not, but it definitely has her in here. So it's keeping in line with the way that she does her branding. It has her colors in here. It's got like that little highlight thing there. That is definitely part of her brand. And it basically has here the top of what would be in, I would imagine, a landing page, right? It tells me what it is. You usually have this little thing at the top, right? What they call like the eyebrow of the page, the free guide, the title, your money. On the side guide tells you what it is plus what you're getting. Actually, let's see if this is exactly what's on the landing page. Yep, it looks like it's pretty much what's on the landing page. They have your free guide, your money on the side guide, how to map out your side hustle potential, See, so it just is matching over here. But notice how it is designed a bit differently. So I'm taking in, as a user, I'm taking in this information. I click through, I go over here to the landing page. I see her branding, and it's even similar colors, like the red, orangey, yellow stuff. It looks different from her other ones. I think I've seen other landing pages of hers where it's like got more blues. It's cooler. So I know that I'm in the right place. I see the exact same thing that I clicked on, but in my head, I don't think it's exactly the same because it's laid out differently. And if I'm on my phone, I'm probably only seeing this part here and not this image over here. But because I think, anyway, my theory is it looks different here. And I come here, my brain doesn't immediately think, oh yeah, whatever, I just saw this already, I'm moving on. No, I'm still interested, I want this, and just keep going through the whole landing page over here. So I think that maybe it was intentional, maybe it wasn't, but I thought that was smart. She's using the sign up instead of the learn more button. Great, if that works really well for her. I usually notice here she's using learn more instead of sign up. So these ones were launched in March 2024. It looks like this one was a similar video. Let's take a look at this one over here. This one looks like it's a new creative that they did in March. So again, maybe they're trying to beat the controls over here. So this one looks more like a meme style one. So let's just click this here. All right, so this has music behind it and it's 10 seconds. Notice that it is B-roll, but it is still her, so it's still in keeping with, for her brand anyway, it seems that it's important to have Amy front and center for all the different ads, but this is sort of like more of a meme style ad. Some people call these lazy creatives where you just have B-roll and you just put text on the screen going over here. And it looks to me like it's sped up because I don't think anybody writes that fast. So it looks like it's sped up, maybe looped as well. And it's not, unlike the other one where she was talking into the camera, it's not switching scenes. It looks very natural. This is the type of thing that you would probably encounter naturally on Instagram or Facebook Reels. So I do like to do that sometimes as well. The text to me looks very similar to the one that we did before. So it looks like they're testing the creatives and they're clearly testing the learn more here. This kind of looks like somebody who might be working. It is relevant. She's not just showing a picture of her playing with her dog or something like that. So I think that is important as well. And it shows that somebody where she looks like she's working. Maybe she is working on a profitable idea. Who knows? But yeah, interesting. And this has been going on since March. So, and it's still active. So, you never know, could be working well. I'm not going to dive so much into the copy for here. It looks like they're using pretty similar copy. This one here is how much could you earn with a side hustle? This is want to know your side hustle profit potential. And this one is craving the freedom and choice that comes with having your own business. So they're testing different hooks, but it looks like this one here, want to know your hustle potential. It seems to be being used the more. So maybe that is the winning copy that they're trying. Let's take a look at a couple other ones. These were launched in April. So let's see if we can get some more ideas over here. This is it looks like it's a different lead magnet, and notice how it still has our branding, different look and feel. So I'm not confused about it. It's like more blue. So let's take a look at this one over here. It's going back to her long copy with these sort of emojis over here to indicate bullet points. Still has the link in the description. Now let's take a look at this video. So this one over here, it is a bunch of B-roll. So this is interesting. There are no captions. This is B-roll again of her. There she is walking by with her dog, and notice how it changes like every 5, 6 seconds. Yep, a different angle. So it's doing transitions every couple of seconds, showing her different things, but it's a voiceover. So that's interesting. I haven't tried that before or recently, so I think that's something that I could definitely try on some ads. And this, again, notice how it's interesting. This is 44 seconds long and, well, it's moving a little bit. So it's not like doing jump cuts, but notice how the camera was like moving in and out. Oh, here we go. Here's another jump cut. Again, a different angle. So trying to keep our attention throughout the 40 seconds while she does a voiceover as well. That's interesting. And I don't think it's in different formats. It's just in this tall, sort of like this tallish format here, which should do pretty well anyway for, I think, any placement, because you don't have any text on the screen. She's pretty much in the middle of the screen each time. So I don't think she'll get cut off too much there. We're running another carousel. So it looks like, again, using different formats. So her team does tend to like ones that look like they have to be in order. You don't always have to do that, but I noticed that they like to put the arrows in, and this one, it's almost like a puzzle. So it's going to continue. And this is basically like another little landing page inside of here, which is nice for carousels. That's a good thing you can do. You can just basically take the headline and you basically have another shot here to do like a very short, almost like landing page here, in addition to what's happening here, in addition to whatever they have to click through. And it is branded. So this one also looks like this one looks like it's another one that is that sort of like that meme style. You can see here it's 6 seconds. It has music, it's just B-roll with text on the screen. I'll show it to you here. So again, the same formula. Put up very, very simple looking headline, then the call to action, and there you go. And it's just doing something interesting. Something is happening in the background. So this is opening up, and oh, how smart of her. It's opening up to the actual landing page on the screen on her computer. Very smart. I love that little touch there. Here is another one that she's doing. Yep, another one that she's talking. Notice how it's a bit of a different angle where she's talking straight into the camera. Here, she's got that sort of round, kind of going around in circle. I've done that before in ads. It's a great hook. Definitely captures attention. And again, changing every few seconds in terms of a different angle while she's talking into the camera. So this is a different angle straight on. So it's good to test that wearing the blue shirt again. And then other ones that have been launched more recently are, it looks like they're still doing, notice how they have a pattern here. So they're always testing these ones. By the way, these are great if they work because I think they're very easy to create. Your team can actually create them. You just have to have a whole bunch of B-roll. And if you're not doing it branded the way she is, you could definitely get stock footage that's very similar to this and put that up. Notice here, this is a bit new. She's got a masterclass and she looks like she has some static creatives over here, but following the same theme of putting the headline or the hook right here in the creative. So I like to do that as well. It goes, it accompanies the text of the ad and the headline over here with it very well. And it's a lot of times people just see this first. So great to see this again, different style, very dark with the white on top, as opposed to everything else is very bright. It's got, the text on the white here. So let's just kind of take a look at the newest ads that she's running. So this one here, again, same thing where she's got the text on top of like a designed graphic over here. And let's just take a look at the videos that she's doing. So this one looks a little bit different. Now these were just launched in June. So it just started running on, this one started running on June 20th, these two. And interesting, these ones here look like they're a different style. So they have, like, the text looks very similar to what she's already doing. But if you take a look at the video, she is talking in front of the camera, and notice that the captions are up at the top here. They're in a different style. So who knows? Maybe they're trying somebody new out, or they're trying a different type of style. This one is like the caption is much more energetic. Notice how she's not changing the camera angle. I haven't seen it jump cut at all. So interesting to see if these will keep going. This is under a minute, just under a minute long. So that'll be interesting to see in terms of just testing how well it's going to work. It's always good to test something very, very different. This is different to all the other creatives that I've seen that are running. She has one here too. She's wearing a different colored shirt. Same thing, just talking into the camera, and then having that same style of captions at the top here. So it'll be interesting to see what happens. But yeah, different colored shirt, probably very similar, similar message. And then this one over here, she's wearing the same, is she wearing the same shirt as that one? No, it's different. But a dark colored shirt. Now this is a bit of a different style. Again, we haven't seen this in the ads that we're running, but it's got the headline way here at the top, and then a different type of caption style here. So again, looks like they're testing different stuff out. This was launched June 5th. So again, not about a month ago. So let's take a look quickly at the inactive ads as well. So the inactive ads launched in June. You can see here what they probably test and just didn't work. So there's more of these types of here where it had the headline at the top and then the captions over here. Seems like it's not working that well. This one looks like it was one of those gift style ads, 17 seconds long, but it's more of a slideshow actually from what I see here. And that one is also inactive. So I guess that didn't work as well. My guess is there's probably too much information in there. And again, you can see some other static ads that worked. Another one of that different style here. So you can see here just lots of different types of testing is what we're seeing here. And I have noticed that the Facebook ads library doesn't show everything. So there's probably other ads here that we just haven't seen that they've probably tested as well. But they seem to me to be following very similar creative guidelines to what they've done before. Because look, they're probably working on what has worked before and what hasn't worked before. And now they're just trying different things. Like over here, this looks very different. This is probably, yeah, this is just like a little GIF where the words are popping up. Maybe that wasn't enough. Maybe that wasn't enough movement. Who knows? So I think there's some really great ideas that we could find over here. And by the way, just because something didn't work for this brand doesn't mean it won't work for yours. So do take a look at some of the ads that are inactive, because maybe it's an idea here that will work for you, but just didn't work for them. So here, because it did run from January 5th to 20th. So it did run for like 2 weeks. And you got to think that they may not have something up there for 2 weeks if it wasn't working. I mean, who knows how fast they were testing things, but it's always great to have these new ideas. So a couple things we saw here, again, just for her, everything is very branded, and we saw some different types of, I think, video styles that we can all do, whether we're talking into the camera or using B-roll with text on top of it, and definitely also changing it up with carousel posts and static posts. So I hope that this gave you some ideas of what you can use for your creatives in your ad campaigns. And let me know below, what was your biggest takeaway from this breakdown of the creatives in the Edge? And I will see you next time.